So what's going on, guys? Max here, and welcome back to another video. And yes, guys, I do look a little bit different today, trying to be a little bit more flashy, a bit more, elegant, sleek, whatever you want to call it. But today we're going to be talking about Instagram. I kind of want to talk about kind of how to maintain an Instagram account. It's one of those things that doesn't really get talked about too much. Like, we all talk about doing this on Instagram is important. Most videos on Instagram are how to grow your Instagram. My goal isn't to directly tell you how to grow your Instagram or what to do. My goal today is to help you put your Instagram on the right track to looking good and hopefully bringing you either business, more people can start looking at your Instagram account, and just creating a much more beautiful, cinematic, and just fresh looking Instagram account. Because if you just post mismatched shit, like one day you post a landscape photo and a different day you post like photos of animals and you do like astrophotography, people are gonna look at that account and they're gonna go, I have no idea what's going on. This account is not for me. He's not specific. I don't know what he's into. I don't want to follow it. And for me personally, I like accounts that really go in when it comes to the style. They really dig into that style and they keep that consistency going throughout their entire account. They keep that consistency in colors, keep that consistency in just the style of photography that they're doing. If you're a landscape photographer, I'm expecting landscapes, and that's what you want to keep for your own Instagram's sake and your own sake in general. You want to keep photos on a consistent level with the colors. I want to show you guys my Instagram, how it looks like, and yeah.
Having a great time out here. So much fun things to do. So have a fun time. I feel like I don't.
Alright, so let's first begin with looking at my Instagram account. I want to quickly, guys, show you my Instagram account, looking all the way from the beginning when I started Instagram and going all the way up to my latest photos and what I've been posting over the last couple of weeks, to show you the progression of the Instagram, how my style has changed, but to also show you that even throughout the year of practicing and learning photography, I've still been consistently keeping the style and look throughout my entire account. Let's jump straight into the Instagram account. Let's launch the Instagram app. So we are on Instagram and let's dive straight into my actual account. So this is my account. We have 634 followers. Awesome. I'm happy with that. That's my account. Let's actually scroll all the way down to the beginning of when I started this account. We have over, I think it's about to be exactly 170 posts over the last year of making Instagram photos. 170, not that crazy. Hoping for more for the next year. But diving straight down to the beginning of our Instagram, the only thing going from my account at the start was just the colors. If you look at the first 9 photos or the first 12 photos, you can see that the colors are very cold, but they're all consistent throughout all the photos. That's the great thing about these older photos, is they're all consistent in the colors. Maybe I wasn't a good photographer. Maybe the composition, the style of photography was absolutely garbage. It did not make sense. One day I posted a photo of my dog, then I did a product photo, a photo of my desk, then I posted my intro for my YouTube channel. Makes no sense whatsoever, but the only thing going from my account at that point was the fact that I was learning and the fact that the colors were consistent. That was the only thing that made my account kind of look somewhat professional or somewhat good, is the fact that that consistency in colors was on my account. And when you start to go a little bit more up, it kind of gets a little bit weirder, even more different stuff, a post of coffee. Honestly, I was just experimenting at that point. When we started to post portraits, which actually this was my first proper portrait of my stepbrother, this is when I kind of started to get a little bit more serious with photography. And as you guys can see, I was just like, you know what? I'm really interested in portraiture, and I started to do portrait photography from there. I had a couple of other photos, obviously, here and there. I did portraiture for a couple of weeks, as you guys can see there. I'm pretty happy with a lot of these portraits, especially at the time. These were a big deal, and yeah, these are pretty good. And then we transitioned into, I don't know, landscapes, architecture, whatever you want to call it, mixture with the portraits. But maybe this is kind of like a jumble of random shit chopped in a bowl, but the thing is, they all look good together. They all have a similar color, similar style. When it comes to the type of photos, they're all similar. A lot of them are portraits, a lot of them are landscape photos, a couple are architecture shots, but they're all pretty much similarly color graded. They all fit together when it comes to the colors. They're all warm. Well, most of them are warm images, and they kind of work well together, and it's actually not that bad. Maybe the actual photos themselves, when you look at them from like a composition framing standpoint, I'm not proud of them, but a couple of these shots are actually quite amazing, to be honest, especially at the time with the equipment that I was using. I'm pretty proud of this, and the account just started to get better. Then I switched to street photography. I started to do fashion, portraiture, and architecture. I actually did that for a while. I did that for a good amount of time. I started to introduce some whack shit on my account, some like really weird different things. You guys can see, I think this is the weirdest point in my account. The only thing that makes this look good is the fact that they all are similarly color graded. They all have that similar tone, and that's why all of these photos look great together. The funny thing is, all of these photos are different. I think there's only 2 photos here that are actually the same. I have 2 portrait photos. Everything else in this are completely different. There are 2 portraits and 2 product photos. Everything else is different. We have an architecture shot, a shot of a lake, like a landscape shot of like flags, and a shot of architecture. Complete jumble of different things that just don't work well together when you think of the style of photography. But the thing is, I color graded them all so well, and I placed them all so well together that even though it's randomized and random types of photos, they still looked good together, and people still enjoyed it for that fact. As you guys can see, the trends continue until a little bit later, until the last month, 2-3 months, where I started to really consistently put just portraits and landscapes. That's what I'm into right now. Portraits, landscape, travel stuff. As you guys can see, the only thing that has been going on my account that's been great is just the photos themselves. For the most parts, the photography, like the actual photos themselves, if you look at each photo individually, they're high quality, sharp, beautiful photos with great framing, great editing. They all look good. The colors throughout the entire account, they all look the same. They're all similar. They all work well together. But when it comes to the style, when somebody goes on my account, especially on my older photos, people didn't know what I was. They were just looking at this, or like they see product photos, portraits, photo of a car. People just did not understand what my account was about, and that was the issue that I had. So it's important that you figure out and you understand what you want your Instagram account to be about. And that's kind of the first step that you need to take, the first action that you need to take, which is going to be deciding on what style of photography you're going to be doing. So it's important to figure out what you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing. So first, put all the styles of photography that you might have done before or you are okay with doing, put them in a list and put like 10-15 different styles and start eliminating them until you're just left with at least 3 at the most. Don't stay with more than 3, because at that point it's going to be very hard to choose. If you have 4 or 5 styles that you're very passionate about, you gotta learn to let go. Figure out which one works best for you, which one you can consistently keep up with. Don't choose architecture photography if you live in a rural environment where there's no cities anywhere near you for miles and miles and miles and miles. Then don't do street photography, because you're not going to be able to maintain that. You're going to have to travel once every couple of months to some cities to get photos, and that's just not going to be consistent whatsoever. So it's important that you figure out the styles, narrow it down to at least just 2 styles of photography, and from there you know that, okay, I've narrowed it down to just street and portraiture. I'm into street photography and portraiture. In the street realm, I'll do stuff like architecture, some like street portraits of people, and I'll do some street photography of just like the beautiful kind of sceneries that the streets of whatever city you're in pretty much offer, like maybe the people crossing the streets, photos of the beautiful architecture. So many different things you can do just in that street and portrait realm. There's a lot that you can do in just that small, narrowed environment, and that's what you want to do. You want to narrow things down. What I have narrowed it down to is travel and pretty much landscape and portraiture. Those are my 2 things: landscape, portraiture, and travel. Since I do travel, I can expand a bit more. I can do photos of a car, photos of animals, because it's all part of the travel experience, and it's okay for me to do that. But if I didn't call myself a travel photographer, if I called myself a portrait photographer and I started to post drone photos of landscapes and animals and cars, it just wouldn't make sense and people would just get confused and just be like, what are you doing? This makes zero sense. Why are you even posting this? So figure out what style you're into, narrow it down, and make sure that you kind of get that nail in the wall when it comes to the style and the type of photography that you want. And the next portion that you want to work on is figuring out the actual like look of your photos, figuring out the editing style of your photos, because that's going to be a next portion that's important. Not only having a consistent theme of photos, having landscapes and portraits. For me personally, landscapes and portraits are the ones that need to be on my account. I need to make sure that they all have a similar color grading tone. Obviously that's going to look the best, going to look perfectly even and consistent, but it doesn't have to be perfectly identical when it comes to colors. It could be slightly shifted as long as the main feeling, the main tone of it stay as similar and the same as possible, because keeping that similar look when it comes to the colors, making sure that you color grade each photo that you post very similarly, create LUTs, create presets. They're there for a reason, just so you can copy that same look for other photos. And if you guys want, I'm gonna be making a video on pretty much how to create Lightroom presets. It's very easy. I'll make a full tutorial on that. If you guys want to see that, click the like button, subscribe. I'll be making that very soon. Click the notification bell so you guys don't miss that. I'll be making a video on how to create a LUT as well as a preset on Lightroom. I'll show you guys exactly how to do that. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you got something out of this. I'll see you guys in my next video. Like, subscribe, share the video, click the notification bell. All of that's gonna support the channel. We post every single week. Check out my Instagram at Bayarsky. We post every other day, consistent stories, a lot of stuff on there. You guys can also check out my website, pick up my presets and LUTs. I'm also going to be hopefully selling some prints, and if you live locally in the GTA region, you can also schedule a photo shoot or a video shoot if you're interested in something like that. I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Deuces, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, god damn, things are falling apart.